On to Newcastle. Newcastle owners have injected £15 million into the club. What's that likely to be for?
I think it's just housekeeping, basically. Again, it's just where they can put money in again to try and alleviate the PSR issues. Now, on my calculations, again, Newcastle are tight, but they're going to be able to trade, and they're going to have to trade their way through the windows. But I think that 15 million was probably an opportunity to put some extra cash in, and that could be the sort of money we're talking about with so anybody else that goes out. That's the sort of money that they would get if they get some money for Longstaff or some other loan deal. That's the sort of budget they're going to be looking at in January, I think. So that's basically what I'm seeing from that money going in.
And Newcastle have appointed Jacob Solis to the board, another high-quality addition after holding an important position at PIF.
Yes, yeah, he's been well known for a while now that he is a very influential guy. He's been handling the European investments of PIF, so he's obviously very well thought of and very close to Yasser, the chairman, Yasser Al Romanian, the chairman not only of the PIF but of Newcastle. What was interesting, there was a link that came out this week, was that he's also on the board of, I think it's the Electric Powerboat Association, and so is Gary Cook, the CEO of Birmingham City. And that was just a random connection that came out of nowhere. I don't think it means anything, but it was a random football connection through electric boats. But it's always interesting to see how that sort of network is established, and it was just interesting. But no, he's of the highest caliber in terms of a businessman. He's also got a great knowledge of the Spanish market as well. I believe he's a Spanish lawyer by trade, and also an investment banker. So very high quality. But again, this is all pointing to me to Newcastle ramping up for this big announcement they're going to be making sometime in the new year about the new facilities.
And The Athletic reported that Newcastle might not be able to sell St. James's land if they moved due to ownership issues. Is this a stumbling block for the new stadium, or this kind of guarantees us that they are not building a new stadium?
No, no, not at all. I mean, look, the land has always been owned by the city council. It's always been leased to the club on a long-term lease. So really, unless they could sell the lease, they can never own that. They've never owned the land, so they could never sell it. I don't think either thing makes a difference, though, because any new facility would be there's ways to finance that new facility without having to sell the old one, because there would be redevelopment and somebody would have to buy the lease at least out of Newcastle United. So they'll have factored that into all the calculations, and I don't think it really makes any difference. But historically, it's always been council land.
And Islam, the state religion of Saudi Arabia, of course, forbids earning or paying interest on loans. Does that mean Newcastle's project is unlikely to be funded by traditional debt? I mean, that's usually how we see these big stadium projects get done. And then how would they fund it?
Well, look, there are many ways now to make what they would call Sharia-compliant finance available on different projects. It's been done on some complex projects already. I know that would be easily available obviously to the PIF. But you're right, conventional finance may be repackaged in a certain way, but it is a case of repackaging it rather than meaning it's a complete no-no. So I don't expect that to be a major issue. It's certainly something that we'll be watching. I mean, we've already seen Saudi Arabia, of course, managing to announce the new stadia for the World Cup, and some of the most fantastic ones that the visions are incredible. Obviously, that will all be Sharia compliant and also funded separately. But in terms of debt and debt packaging, there are many tools now in the sophisticated financial markets now for Sharia compliant situations. So I don't expect a problem.